Report. Parting ways.
No battle, chat. Just cutscenes. Here we go. Actually, I tell you what. Chat, I just realized it's been 4 hours. I did not expect that battle to take as long as it did, but I need to go to the restroom, and I also need to get some water because, believe it or not, I have powered through my entires. I have the big, Yeti thermos thing that I usually fill up before the stream starts, and I have powered through that entire thing. So, yeah, I need to refill my water. I also need to go to the restroom badly. So chat, we're a little bit late, but I think now is a good time to take a break before we get into some more drama and suspense. Alright, chat, we are back. We are back. Yeah, I already see you busting out the damn toilet wine. Oh, you thought I missed it. Listen, one of these days you guys are gonna learn that just because I don't say something doesn't mean I don't see it. Because here's the thing you need to know about me. Is I am more than happy. I am more than happy to let you guys continue to show your ass. Because when you think I don't know what you're doing, and you think that I don't see the stuff that you do when you think I'm not paying attention, then you're more willing to do the stuff that I'm really gonna get on your ass about. Because you think no one sees it. You think nobody knows. So you get brazen. You get overconfident. You show your ass. Dude, that's a very likely story, no Carrion. Very likely story. You can try to go with that if you want. I mean, my immediate follow-up question would be, are you just naturally this full of shit, or do you have to put effort into it? That would be my follow-up question, because if you're putting effort in, I appreciate the hustle. But if it's all talent, then again, follow-up question, why are you so bad at it? Anyway, Chad. Anyway, it's time for some high drama. So let's figure out what exactly our good friend Faldio has to do with Bakery Waifu's little accident.
Sir, may I come in?
Kreese, any results on that thing I asked you to look into?
Yes, sir. For starters, this bullet you gave me. Its shape and markings perfectly match rounds used by an experimental Gallian sniper rifle.
I see. So Alicia really was shot by someone inside the Gallian force. So, any leads on who fired it?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, Kreese.
The night before the shooting, records show Lieutenant Lanzet checked out the rifle.
What? Faldio had the gun? Are you sure that's not some mistake?
It's rare for a tank commander to ask for a sniper rifle, so the clerk remembered him. Sir, only 2 of those rifles exist right now. One is confirmed to be locked in the arsenal. The other was checked out to Lieutenant Lanzet and has yet to be returned. I can't. It's hard for me to believe, too.
Faldio? It couldn't be.
It couldn't be, Chet. You remember how every time there's some kind of like spree shooter or serial killer and everybody's like, oh, but he was such a nice boy. He would never do something like that. Just saying.
Hey, Faldio. You in? I guess not. Notes on the Valkyrian race. The anthropology of the Valkyrer. Maybe he was reading up on the enemy. This is his handwriting. Alicia must be made to awaken. What?
Alicia must be made to awaken. No matter how much I try, I can think of no other way.
He writes very elegantly.
I almost wish I had never joined them on that expedition to the Barius ruins. I'm convinced that the inner chamber was built to admit only Valkyria. But the door opened at her touch. That could only mean that the blood of their tribe courses through her veins. Still, I was shocked to find her bathed in that uncanny light that night in the field. Though I doubted my eyes, I never once doubted. That light was the Valkyrian blue flame. Ultimately, I had no choice but to accept the simple truth that Alicia is one of them. I'd already begun to question all I knew. The walls of the temple sanctum were inscribed with the Valkyrier's account of history. History as it truly was. We are all taught of the Darkson calamity, and how their actions forever scorched the land. But this account told a different story. The Valkyria invaded this land from the north, slaying the indigenous Darkson people as they came. Their grasp of Ragnite technology and the art of war were vastly superior. They trained the destructive power of Ragnite on the Darkson's land, burned it to ash, then had the gall to pass the blame for their inhuman deeds off on their Darkson slaves. Darksons have borne that stigma ever since, while the Valkyria became godlike saviors. The victors simply rewrote the history books. The Barius ruins promulgate a lie to all but their own descendants as hard fact. Reading about the Valkyria's power, the true face of these saviors, left me stunned. Yet at the same time, I cannot help but think of how useful it could be to us now. Since then, I've investigated every text and report on the Valkyria I could find. They lead me to believe that at least a few scions of the Valkyria must have survived to this day. All across Europa, these rare individuals live and die unaware of their own nature. But history has recorded rare cases of individuals who have awakened to their powers. Their stories share one common thread. All of them suffered grave wounds before awakening. If those accounts are correct, the blood of the Valkyria stirs at the approach of death. Their power, having slept for thousands of years, bursts awake at one step shy of the end. Once awakened, if one of these individuals takes hold of the refined Ragnite arms of their ancestors, they make their mark on history as one of the Valkyria of old. I couldn't stop myself. I stole the Valkyrian lance and shield out of the university archive. Supposedly their blood serves to amplify the Ragnite's natural power. I have no idea what science lies behind it. Perhaps it's a consequence of their origins in the Ragnite-rich northern regions. Regardless of the reason, the Valkyria's life force itself calls forth a reaction from the stone. The enemy Valkyria decimated our forces on the Magyar plains. I could not afford to stay my hand on account of ethics. I had the rifle, and I forced myself to use it. I shot her. I placed the lance and shield on her unconscious form. I was racked with insecurity and guilt, hands red with blood of my best friend's love. But now I know. The choice I made was right.
Faldio!
Welkin Angie.
Hello, Lieutenant Gunther. Is something wrong?
Faldio, where is he?
Sir, Captain Virat just called him in. He left only a minute ago.
My man's is angry. Justifiably. Don't worry, Chad. I'll share my thoughts in a minute.
Faldio, I'm only going to ask you this once. Was it you who shot Alicia?
Yeah. I shot her.
Tell me why. Why did you have to shoot her?
The people. Gallia needed her. Now let me ask you a question. How else do you think we could have won that battle? If not for Alicia's power, Gallia would have most certainly lost.
I still can't.
And not just this battle. I'm talking about Gallia's future. How else are we supposed to survive, Welkin? Caught on either side by giants. It's Alicia. Our Valkyria. She's the only one who can protect us from them.
Wrong. Our side gaining power won't end this war. All it does is escalate the conflict.
That's enough. Listen to each other. You may both be right, but still, you're both very wrong. I don't claim to have the perfect answer either. However, regardless of the reason, attacking one of your own comrades is deplorable. By Gallian military law, I remand you to the stockade until further notice, Faldio. And you, Welkin. 24 hours in isolation for engaging in fisticuffs.
But you didn't think you were going to hear the word fisticuffs in this game, did you?
Chapter 15, Citadel Ghirlandaio.
So, chat, because this is, once again, a big moment in the story, there are a couple of very important points that you need to take away from everything that just happened. Number one, I'm gonna say it again. I've been saying it the whole time that we've been playing this game, and you can probably say it along with me now at this point. Themes, chat. What even are they? Because we've been talking about the themes that run throughout this entire game, and once again, how everything in the game so far has been playing into those themes. Now, I will admit, a giant exposition dump was probably not the best way to deliver this information, but as I previously discussed when we went to start the game, there was a little bit of difficulties during the development of the game, and I feel like the dissemination of that information and like figuring out exactly what happened and why Faldio did what he did, I think that kind of got compressed as a byproduct of the development troubles with the game. And I feel like, and I don't know, but I feel like that section of the game was probably originally written out to be a longer segment. and to actually play into kind of like a mystery and try to figure out exactly what happened. Not that you would necessarily actively be investigating, but it would be a thing going on in the background while someone was trying to figure it out. So I feel like that part of the game's development and story was a little bit rushed, and I do accept that criticism. But there's a couple of other key takeaways as well. And it has to do with Salvarian, because we're coming up on a big moment in her character arc as well. Faldio mentions in the journal that in order to have that power, that is the Valkyria, have to come close to death. And Salvaria has already mentioned previously that she basically stabbed herself so that she could essentially awaken that power to fight earlier in the campaign. And I think it's alluded that she's been having to do that every single time. So when you see her going all crazy anime with the blue flame and stuff, she is essentially dying in that moment. And of course, because they have rapid healing and things like that, she ends up recovering. But understand that that's what she's been putting herself through this entire time. Again, this is important to her character arc. So we've learned about the Valkyria. We've learned that it turns out they didn't actually save anyone. They were the aggressors. They committed all the atrocities, and then essentially just rewrote the history books to paint themselves as saviors. Again, themes. What even are they? Because we can look to our own history to see the exact same thing happen all the time. So, again, a lot to unpack on this one. But it's important to take those big points away, which is the Valkyria have to be close to death to awaken their powers, and that seems to be a relatively consistent thing. It's like they don't it's not just a light switch where you flip it on like X-Men and then you just go and do whatever you want. So there is a bit of sacrifice involved. Yeah. Space says, just goes to show how committed he was to trying to hand Gallia such a powerful weapon. He took a gamble for what he thought would bring security to the nation. And again, that's kind of the point. And Ernst, of course, thank you not only for gifting Space 1255 the gift sub, and Space, welcome to the Gult of Bad Tactical Decisions, but that is also Erst's 400th gift sub. He has gifted 400 subs in the channel, which is a crazy amount of subs, chat. That is a crazy amount of subs to gift to the channel. So thank you, Erst, for the gift sub, and thank you for 400 gift subs. And Crew Card, not to be outdone, gifting 5 subs to the community as well. Thank you, Crew Card, for the massive generosity and the massive chicken. And welcome back to Ouija, Cat, Dare Catan, Tedious Vocabulary, and Javi93, all names that I recognize from previous gift subs or subscriptions in the past. So welcome back, all 5 gift subs to the Cult of Bad Tactical Decisions. And then we got Ruina Star with 200 Bezos bucks. No message to go along with that, but even so, I appreciate those Bezos bucks, Ruina Star. Thank you so much for the support. For all of you that have now, for whatever stupid reason, decided to start a hype train, the second one of the stream, y'all better keep it in your pants. But yeah, again, Chad, this is, when we're talking about things like, you know, the whitewashing of history, or, you know, history being written by the victors, as I said before, and as we've kind of been talking about as we play through the game, that's a big theme through war, is the difference between what war looks like in a history book versus what war looks like to the people that were actually there and fought it. And I have been in a privileged position over the course of my life to have been able to talk with a lot of veterans, not only of the recent War on Terror, but also the previous Gulf War and some other conflicts from across the world. And if you're ever curious, again, if you want to follow that thread, if you've never given the thought of war and how it gets documented, if you've never given it a lot of thought, I strongly advise go talk to a veteran sometime and see how much different, as an example, the War on Terror looks to a veteran versus a scholar. Because that's one of the core tenets at the heart of the story in this game, is the difference between what a war really looks like and how we tell the story after it's done. And Brewster says, thanks for the stream. Gotta go to sleep to work tomorrow. Well, sorry you gotta go to sleep, Brewster. You're gonna miss the end of the stream. But even so, I'm glad you could join us on this Sunday stream. Hopefully you had a good time. And I do hope that you have an outstanding night. Get yourself some sleep. And hopefully you'll be all rested and ready to go for tomorrow's workday. Drink the green and grab a purple robe. Correct. Correct. Have some green juice, and the robes are complimentary. Anyway, chat. With all the philosophical discussion out of the way, let's continue on with Chapter 15. Actually, I tell you what, since I said we were going to do this, let's head to the headquarters. Because not only do we have all the experience and the shekels that we got from the mission we just completed, but we also have the stuff from the Rosie mission, the side mission. So as you can clearly see, we've got a lot of experience and shekels to spend. And Crew Card gifting 5 more subs. Thank you once again, Crew Card, for the massive generosity and the massive chicken. And for the folks that got gifted a sub either now or elsewise in the hype train, be sure to thank these lovely and generous individuals. And of course, as always, welcome to the cult of bad tactical decisions, where we have only one flavor of Kool-Aid, but it is Ecto Cooler. And we have 10 tons, so drink as much as you like. Ernst says, also read All Quiet on the Western Front back to back with The Storm of Steel. Both German soldiers on the Western Front with drastically different takeaways. Correct, absolutely. And I know that not everybody is, big on reading. Some of you may not have the time. Pick it up on audiobook. Both stories. Obviously, All Quiet on the Western Front is the more famous of the 2 stories. Because it's gotten several movie adaptations over the years. But check them both out, because as Ernst is saying, it's 2 very, very different looks at the same war, and even in the same theater. And it can show you just how different a war looks to 2 people who are in relatively close proximity to each other. So yeah, definitely check up. If you have not read those books, I know a lot of folks have to read like All Quiet on the Western Front in school, but The Storm of Steel is not like, it's the lesser known of the 2 and obviously doesn't get as much publicity. But again, same vein, same themes, that idea of examining war as both an insider and an outsider once the war is over. Cannot recommend them highly enough, especially if you're interested in military history and things like that. And Wrecked Carl will into the chat on a Sunday. Good to see you, Carl. Thanks for joining us. Always glad to have you, and hopefully your weekend has been going well so far. Doesn't get as much publicity because it's much more positive. You know, it's funny you should say that, because I always thought it was strange that it didn't get more publicity specifically because of that. Because, obviously everybody prefers a more uplifting message. And I always felt like it would have been, like, if they were going to make a movie about it, I always thought it would be either a good companion piece, or a sequel, or a prequel, or I think they would, if you got a director that would direct both All Quiet on the Western Front and Storm of Steel, do both. with the same director, in the same cinematography and all that, and like, you can have them be standalone movies, but also be like a pair. I've always been surprised that no one ever thought to do that. But yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front is definitely a more dour take. But again, like I said before, the part of the reason that I love Valkyria Chronicles is because in spite of the fact that it's a game about war, it is very positive. It's very optimistic. Again, war doesn't have to be the end of the world. Well, it's not that it's an uplifting war movie, Grendler. It's just that the message is meant to be positive. That, again, war is not the end of all things, and that good can come from it. Or at least that there can be good after a war. Anyway, chat. Let's see. Do y'all want to gamba? Do you want to gamba on the old man again? I feel like most of you that have been betting against the old man probably don't have a whole lot of channel points left. But if y'all want to gamble, we can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go see what he's got. So you tell me. Are you doubters feeling lucky? Crew card says maybe. I take it you're one of the losers, then. Alright, chat, we'll do some gamba. We'll do some gamba. Yeah. Alright, let's see, what do we got? Start a prediction. And there you go. Prediction is up. So put in your votes. Now is the time. Again, we'll do some other things here at the HQ first. Give you guys some time to get your votes in.
Oh, and how about... I couldn't help but snipe.
No, just tell me if you have the thing.
Da, 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 da.
We do have another
I've
side
got
story.
New
Oh my. Well shit, we got three side stories, Jeff. I mean, I'm a little reluctant to spend this much money, but side stories is where it's at, though. So we got a piece that's on Welkin. We got, a piece that's on Captain Mommy. Captain Mommy gets her own side story. And then we get a piece on Alicia.
Come back and...
Alright, let's head to R&D. We still got 157k to spend, and I'm sure we've got some upgrades that are ready to develop, so let's see what kind of new toys R&D has cooked up for us. Oh yeah, we got more accuracy for our rifles. You'd love to see it. What else do we get? Oh, well look at that. So finally, it took a little while, but finally we have the magazine size up. Yeah, they call it clip size up, and that drives me crazy. But we do have the magazine size, so for those of you that were curious what this branch of the tech tree looks like, you have this version of the weapon, which does 25 damage per shot and 50 damage per shot on 20 shots. And then we have a little bit less damage, where we only got 21 and 49, but you get 5 extra shots. So technically, if all the shots hit, your DPS is higher. Sorry, my voice broke there for a second. And as we go down this tree, the magazine size does continue to get bigger. I think at the bottom of the tree, you're firing a grand total of 30 shots. So again, theoretically, the magazine size has a higher DPS. No, I agree, Urs. I typically tend to go with the magazine size or the firepower, depending on what I'm doing with the game. We were going down the firepower tree up until this point because the magazine size had not been unlocked yet. But let's go ahead and have a look at the mag. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's check the other upgrades first, because the magazine size, we're gonna have to buy several upgrades in a row. So let's make sure everything else is upgraded first. So we'll get ourselves a lance upgrade. We're getting all kinds of extra fins and greebles on there. Look at that. They even put a bipod on it. They put a bipod on a rocket launcher, Chad. Are you familiar with the 7.5 BRNO? I feel like I know what that is, but I also can't... I couldn't tell you what... I know I've heard it before, I can't remember why. Alright, we got a firepower boost. We definitely want that because our flamethrowers are feeling a little anemic. Oh, look at that, chat. We've only got one more upgrade left for the grenades. We got some uniform upgrades as well. Increase the defense on our soldiers.
All set.
Alright, now that we've done all that, I'll tell you what. Again, I want to go down the tree for the machine gun, but let me double check on the tanks as well, just in case we've got some good stuff here. Let me see. So we got anti-armor shell on the Edelweiss. That's 26k though, that's very expensive. We don't really have anything here that I'm interested in. We don't have the last sight upgrade yet, so I'm not going to bother with that. Let's have a look at the Shamrock. No body upgrades, no weapon upgrades yet either. And then we got some inventory Tetris. Okay, so let's have a look at the machine guns. Out of a 5-inch barrel, the 90 grain bullet is moving at 2,200 feet per second and is delivering more energy than 77 grain 223 from a 16-inch barrel. Jesus. That is impressive. I mean, so for those of you that are not into like ballistics and don't understand a whole lot about guns, what Ernst is basically talking about is like a 223 for all intents and purposes. Says that's not what I want. I want a fucking Suomi chambered in this. But for all intents and purposes, 223 is basically 5.56. 16-inch barrel is on the longer side for a 223 weapon, especially in the military. Most military weapons are going to be between 8 and 12 inches most of the time. Sometimes you'll get like 14 or 16-inch barrels on a DMR. But 16 inches is a long barrel. That's what she said. And 77 grain refers to how much powder they put in the bullet. So when you're talking about, well, essentially what you're talking about, or what Ernst is talking about, is a bullet that has slightly more powder in it, but it's delivering a significantly higher velocity and impact pressure out of a significantly shorter barrel. And again, without getting into the technicalities, oh no, you're right, my bad. But the technicalities is essentially longer barrel means more pressure in the barrel, means bullet travel faster. Bullet travel faster means bullet hit harder. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, there's some folks that are experts in ballistic theory and things like that that are probably having an aneurysm right now. I'm trying to give the Cliff Notes version for the folks that are not familiar with guns. Imagine if it were going out of an 11-inch barrel like from this... Ernst, listen, I know you have a thing for the Suomi. Emma, I have to resist the urge to call it discount Papasha. And I know that's gonna make you furious. But you know I'm right. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get him with that one. I knew I was gonna get him with that one. Chad, this is what gun nerds do for fun. This is what gun nerds do for fun. Anyway, we need to upgrade our magazines on our machine guns. Let's see how many upgrades we're gonna be able to do with the money that we have. Here you go, bro. And as promised, you can clearly see the magazine upgrade is very clearly styled after the MP44 and similar types of weapons from the late war era. I don't think we're gonna have enough money, Chad. Okay, we have just enough money. And we've made it to the 30 shots, the 30 round magazine. So here is our firepower boost, where we're doing 30 and 45 damage across 40 shots. Here, we're losing about 8 damage on the anti-personnel. I don't really care about the armor damage, because we're not really using machine guns against vehicles. But, here, we're losing 8 damage per shot, but we're gaining 10 shots. So again, the DPS, if all of the shots hit, is pretty significant. And you can see the aim rating is still D on both of them. So it's not as if the accuracy is especially affected. So it is good if you're into that, like, number crunching type of thing. So there we go, chat. We got ourselves some brand new toys to play with. And the prediction...
Come back again soon, bro!
Apologies for the gun nut distraction. But it's time. It's time to head to the cemetery and see who's getting points and who's not getting points.
Hello again, son.
Alright, let's have a look at the prediction. So we've got 56k on yes. Man. We got a lot of believers in the old man this time around. With the top voter still being Jotun, this time with 30k. Jotun's just doubling his money every time. And then we've got only 15k saying the old man's gonna be stinky. And Dark Naze leading the pack. I think he went all in, because he's 5788, which is a very odd number. So I'm thinking Dark Naze has bet it all. He's gambling his family's future on the old man being stinky. So let's have a look. Let's see what's gonna happen.
I'll teach you awakened potential today.
Chad, I think that's an oof. I think Dark Maze and his kids are gonna be going hungry tonight. Dark Maze and his kids are going hungry tonight. And, well, apparently Yes now is also gonna be going hungry tonight. But there you go. The old man is once again a credit to the team. I applaud the doubters for sticking to their guns for as long as they have. But there you go. There's your payout. Some of you are rich, and some of you are very, very not. But that's what happens. You live by the dice. You die by the dice. How many more skills can he teach? I have no idea, Grundler. I have no idea. I don't remember how many... I know he has a lot of orders available. I just don't remember how many. It's a lot, though.
Use it to call forth the natural potential lying dormant inside an allied unit. Well, what is your decision?
What? No, listen, Ernst. You are skewing the results, damn it. Are you not familiar with bias? Jesus.
Very.
Doesn't matter if you voted, Ernst. You're still biasing the voting block. Alright, we still got 80k experience left. Let's hit the training field. Make sure that we use it. We gotta get our Lancers up to elite. So that's number 1 on the list.
I got no use for...
There we go. Now we got elite lancers.
Good work, maggots! Looks like that session... Congratulations, Lancers! As of today, you are elites!
And there it is. So, we've still got 60k. We just need to decide what we want to spend our points on. And of course, I think as usual, I'm going to go with the scouts and the troopers first. Because they are the ones that are carrying us. They are the ones doing most of the work. So let's get that taken care of. That only leaves us 11k, which isn't even enough to get the engineers up to the next level. But that's okay. That's okay.
I got...
Largo has always been Largo. I mean, I disagree.
Okay, you've earned clearance for...
We got a new order. You learned Caution. This order protects one ally by reducing damage taken from any enemy interception fire. I would argue that Largo did not, in fact, become Largo until we went on his vegetable rescue mission. That is when Largo truly became Largo. You can still level him past 11? Correct, Erst. You can, in fact, I believe 20 is the level limit. If I remember right. Of course, I think you pretty much have to play through the game a second time in order to get your people up to 11. Either that or you, or I'm sorry, up to 20. Either that or you have to do a bunch of skirmish, because it takes a lot of experience to level them up to 20. Or whatever the max level is. But there we go. We got our training done. We got some side stories purchased. We got all of our upgrades. We got brand new machine guns for our shock troopers. Speaking of, let me make sure that our shock troopers are actually using the new weapons. Yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. Alright, so she's using the mags. Alicia, are you using... Yeah, you need to switch over, I think, girl. No? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the S11. Because even though the 1R technically does a little more damage, the extra range on the S11 I think is gonna be really useful. So there we go. And then let me double check because I'm pretty sure... Okay, no, I thought we had put some different weapons on our engineers. There we go. I couldn't think of the word. Good lord. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's time to switch off of the special weapons as well because we got pretty significant upgrades here. So let's get all of our lancers upgraded. And then the last thing we need to do... it's not New Game Plus Wasteland, but like... So once you beat the game, you basically just have free run. Like, at that point, it opens it up so you can go back and play the story missions if you want. And then, obviously, you still have the skirmish content and all that. So, it essentially just lets you replay through the game if you want, but you also get to, you get to do it with all of your upgrades and all of the equipment that you have unlocked. But we need to go to the audience hall. Because we've got several medals that we need to pick up. And the guns that go with it.
Lieutenant Welkin Gunther, step forward.
You're not giving us any fancy guns this time? Oh, here we go. Here's the fancy gun.
Exemplary.
know, you could just give me a box with all the new guns in it. It'd probably be faster.
May your allegiance to Gallia stand firm evermore.
Alright, so we just got done in the barracks. Now we have to go back and see if the fancy new guns are better than the guns that we just equipped. So obviously we gotta check Marina first. So the 3R does more damage, has the same range, has slightly worse accuracy. I don't feel like it's worth it. Because again, if we're going for headshots, the damage is largely irrelevant. So I think we keep Marina where she's at. Let's see what we got. We got the Gallian 3R. So less range, but more damage. Not a whole lot more damage, though. I mean, it's an increase of 6 damage per shot, and we're sacrificing 50 range. I think the range is better, because I use my engineers and my scout. You already seen. I use my scouts and engineers a lot as blockers. Like, I will post them up so that they can take shots from a long distance to kind of pin down, like, stormtroopers or shock troopers and things like that. You forgot the shock trooper Sturmgewehrs? No, we're good. Cause it was Rose, oh, no, you're right, I did. That's my bad. Alright, well, let's do this. We're gonna equip the T-Mag first, because that's the upgraded magazine. That'll give us the whole class. Now let's see what we got here. Okay, so the thing that it's not showing us here, and this is part of the issue. The T-Mag has the 30-round magazine. We know that, but it doesn't show you that, for whatever reason. So the 3R looks better, but again, it's firing 10 less shots. And it's not a huge upgrade over the M20 that we just upgraded to. So I think we stick with the T-Mag. I don't think there's a more detailed view. Let me see. Like, I'm hitting random buttons on the controller to see if it opens any other kind of menu, but it doesn't look like it. Because the only button I haven't hit yet is the back button. So yeah, I don't think there's a way to expand it. It's fine. We know that the T-Mag is better just because, again, by definition, more bullets, mo better. Like, that's just more DACA. Chat, we should... we don't need to have this conversation. We all agree, mo bullets, mo better. No, you don't have to hit up the wiki wasteland. Again, mo bullets, mo better. It's easy. Easy. Bigger bullet would also be acceptable. Alright, there we go. Now we'll save, and then we'll get into chapter 15. Oh my goodness. And yes, I know we have 3 side stories, but I want to try to get to the next story mission, because we're already at almost the 5-hour mark, and this is going to be a pretty long chapter, so I want to try and get through it. We'll save the side stories for next stream, and I want to try to get through all of chapter 15. I don't know if we'll have enough time, but I want to try to get through chapter 15 if we can. So let's get it started, chat. Let's see where we're at.
Thanks to the victory at Magyar, our forces have pushed the enemy back to the border. The Imperials are currently holed up in the citadel at Girlendio.
Girlendio.
A crucial checkpoint along the commerce routes tying Gallia to the east since medieval times, the pass at Girlendio had been fortified for ages. The existing structure was rebuilt as a modern fortress during the First European War, and its grounds were littered with the casualties of war. In the current war, it housed the Empire's command center, and now it stood as their final stronghold.
What's our strategy for attacking the Citadel, Captain?
I still haven't received any details on our orders from above yet.
Oh, stop your worrying, Virat! I came here myself to give you your orders!
Oh, look who it is, chat. It's our favorite character. Glad he's here to tell us what to do.
General Damon. I'm honored, but why not just send a messenger?
Your regiment really showed him up out there at Nagyar. In return, I'm granting you the honor of assaulting the Citadel at the van of the army.
Sir?
Here are your orders. There's a supply line running into the Citadel.
And Tier 616 says this game looks epic. First time chatter. It is indeed epic. I enjoyed this game and this franchise a great deal. So feel free to hang out and check it out with us. And of course, Troubleshooter wasted no time at all to gift a sub to Tier 616. So Troubleshooter, thank you for the generosity as always. And Tier, welcome to the cult of bad tactical decisions. Please do enjoy the Acto Cooler as we have 10 tons of it and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Here says Damon couldn't find his own ass in the mirror. I mean, so here in Texas, what we would say is he couldn't find his own ass with both hands in a map. But yeah, same thing. Yeah, you guys have been handing out too many robes. We're gonna run out if you're not careful.
We're sending a train car loaded down with explosives along it to blow us an entrance. The militia will run along the track ahead of it, flipping the right rail switches.
Flipping rail switches, sir? This while dodging a hailstorm of bullets? That sounds like a suicide mission, sir.
What are you talking about? It's the perfect challenge for your fearless crew. If we succeed here, the Empire will finally be forced out of Gallia for good.
It is not, in fact, the perfect challenge for our fearless crew. It's the perfect way to dispose of a unit that has been making him look bad this entire war.
You'll pave the way for the real army. You got that, Virat?
Damn it! Another mission they don't have the guts to do themselves.
Maybe. But it's a mission that somebody still needs to do.
Precisely. As the General said, if we win, the Empire will be driven out of Gallia. Let this be our final battle. I'll await good news from the field. Dismissed.
Like I said, Chad, he's gonna get his due.
It hurts. Mother, where are you?
Hey! There's a survivor here! It's too late for the mother. Come on, we've got to get the child out. Now!
Mother, where are you? Mother! Mother!
Sire, Your Grace.
That incident grows old and stale. Selvaria, what news have you from the front?
Sire, they seek to push our soldiers past the border, and the total of their forces approach those of our own.
I see. The advantage now begins to sway towards the other side. It seems the loss at Nagyar has ended our hopes of strolling through the gates of Rondgries.
The fault lies with me. This would be over had I but won at Nagyar. Your Grace, grant me another chance, I beg you. Please allow me to fight for your glory, sire.
Dear Selvaria, do you truly wish to be of help?
Yes, more than anything. From the time you saved me, Your Grace, I've known that I love you more than I do my own life. Sire, I want to work in the service of your dreams.
Very well. So, Selvaria, you report that the strength of our opponent now matches our own. In that case, let the fire of destruction rain down upon them. Use the final flame of the Valkyria.
But... Your Grace!
The hour of your death shall mark the inauguration of our rule. Farewell, Selvaria.
Can't say I'm impressed, Your Grace. Making a lady cry?
This is simply one of a number of scenarios we'd planned for since before Nagyar. If her prowess as a Valkyria is insufficient, Selvaria's uses quickly narrow to one alone.
Anyway, there's a messenger here for you straight from Castle Randgries.
So there is. Let him wait. I have no time for simple messengers now. We are set to commence Operation Steel Scythe. Jaeger, prepare to return back east.
What? Then it's... the Marmota's finished?
It is. Word has come that it has completed its trial run. The Gallians are hasty to assume victory. We shall see them gutted yet.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, chat. There's a lot to unpack here. I will discuss it.
Is everybody here?
No. Still no Alicia, boss.
Right. Well, let's start.
I already heard from another squad. We're prepping some tracks for a bomb.
That's right. It's a rough one, but this is a critical mission.
This is the militia. We're used to getting all the bum missions by now. With that settled, there's one question I gotta ask you, boss. Alicia's Valkyria powers and all. You plan to use those this time, too?
No, Largo, of course I don't. I have faith in your natural abilities. Who needs Valkyria when I've got you all?
Good answer. I'd expect no less from you, boss.
We're ready for anything out there. After all, this could very well be it.
Yeah, we're fine. You go be with Alicia, boss. She needs you real bad right now.
All right. You all know what you're doing.
Chad, look at the emotional maturity that Rosie has gained. And it just took losing one of the most important people in the unit. But she has finally attained some emotional maturity. Ernst says, was the boob jiggle really necessary? Yes, says Wright. I mean, again, Raita will tell you that the boob jiggle is always necessary.
But does he? This is a tough one, even for Nature Boy.
Having Alicia and the boss moping around is a drag for the whole squad. I hope for everyone's sake they can pull out of this funk real soon.
Alicia, there you are. What's up?
Look at this, Welkin. Guess what? I found some lion's paw growing while I was out on my walk. There you go. Very sharp. Makes you look like a real gentleman.
Well, thank you.
Welkin. They said it was Valdio. Is it true?
Afraid so.
Then when I walked through camp before, some of them got down on their knees, like they were worshipping me. Praised the Valkyria, the Godchild. They were begging me to save Gallia, me. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that?
Alicia,
What kind of life can I live from now on?
I wish I knew.
Wow, I'm sorry. Guess that was pretty heavy. Here we are right before the last battle, and I'm not helping things one little bit. Don't worry about me. Sergeant Alicia Melchiot, sir. Reporting. And ready for duty. My mind is focused on the mission. See you later, boss.
Alicia.
Didn't exactly pass that test with flying colors.